the extent of my dancing. Yo.
Hello, Matt.
How you doing, man?
I was doing okay till I saw the news today. As you know, I go through all sorts of news sources, news outlets, so forth. Well, I was perusing Yahoo Finance today.
Oh yeah, I watch that one. I look at that one.
And something happened. I could feel a cold chill go across the country. And I realized it's because of Ron DeSatan. Which, I did a little research. DeSantis actually does translate to of Satan. But that's of no concern. Here's the concern.
Would explain a lot.
Here's the concern.
Especially those white boots of his. Oh yeah.
He called a what they call an emergency session of Florida, whatever.
Over Disney.
Yeah. And decided, they voted and made it a law that he is going to appoint a 5-person governing board to oversee all of Disney's governmental duties that they have now.
You know, the thing is they don't have to have those duties. They can say, you know what, fuck you, here you go.
Well, apparently he said it says that he's making them keep their debt, but he's taking over.
Wants his Kate and Edith too, yeah.
And it gets worse because,
well, you know, I lived down there for a while, right?
Right.
I've seen, because my wife worked there. I mean, just to say, the fire departments and other special services that Florida has are exceptional because they built them. It's their equipment. They bought it. You know, their fire departments are like things I'd see at an airport, but they kind of need to be, considering what, you know, if you've been backstage at Disney, you'll understand you need that kind of equipment. A regular, normal piece of equipment's not going to work.
Absolutely.
And so it's amazing. Plus, they have training facilities and stuff like that for their people as well. We don't even have that, you know, barely anyway. But sorry, go ahead.
So they changed the name today from the Reedy Creek Improvement District to, get this, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District.
Oversight. That's great.
That's the name of it. And he has now appointed the 5 people to the board. Are you ready to find out who they are? I don't like them, so I will not release any names, but I will tell you who they are.
Shoot.
First one is a Tampa attorney. He was appointed as the chairman. Next, we have the wife of the Florida Republican Party chairman.
Oh yeah, he's throwing treats out to his friends.
The son of the former 2-term Republican mayor of Clearwater. A random Republican attorney and the head of what they call the Gathering USA Ministry. Those are your 5 people.
Of course.
An ultra-conservative ministry, former and current politicians.
He doesn't know the nest he's stirring. He doesn't understand what the money that Disney saves the taxpayers. I mean, Disney's so large.
Well, let's discuss that for a minute. If he's on oversight committee, does that mean that the state of Florida is going to take over the finances for all those companies, the fire department and the police department and the trash and so forth?
Well, it's sounding like they want Disney to pay for it, but the city, state, whatever is going to run it. And that ain't going to fly. If I were Disney, I'd say, fuck you, you do it. I don't have to do shit. I'm doing this because I'm nice. You know?
What option does Disney have other than to move?
They don't have to move anywhere. They can just turn that shit over to freaking the state and let them deal with it. That's all. Here you go. Here, you can even take the equipment. Fuck off. They could do that. It's not the responsibility of a business to do a supposed taxpayer-funded thing, activity. That's
Right.
that taxpayer-funded stuff.
How will that
They've been
impact?
paying for it 100%.
Won't that add more profit to Disney? Because they won't
Yeah.
have to spend on that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, would sure. Because they keep the equipment up to date. Believe me, I've driven there. I've been all around there where they were building a lot of this stuff anyway. And they spared no expense. I mean, they were state of the art, modern, nice equipment. Buildings were, so on and so forth. I mean, and they did it strategically, so it made sense where to have this stuff.
So just to give you an idea of how hypocritical the Satan is, guess where the Antichrist got married 15 years ago? Disney. Disney, in one of their chapels overlooking
Yeah,
a
Grand
lagoon
Floridian.
and a lagoon and the Cinderella's castle.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Grand Floridian type of situation. That's the best.
And now he wants to stick it to them.
Mm-hmm. But they don't like his gay thing. Come on, man. Most of those people are gay. That's just the way that type of business is. Entertainment attracts that. How many straight guys want to do entertainment? Not many.
Well, that's a little stereotypical, but
No, I was just that is the nature of the industry. My wife still has plenty of friends, and they whatever. It's just the way it is. White man can't jump. I can't dance. I know better, but hey, maybe if I was a little different, then maybe I would have a little better pep in my step. I guess.
okay. Let me ask you: do you think that this could backfire on him?
Yes.
Because I know he's planning on this being his big leap.
Again.
This being his big leap into the presidential primary.
Actually, let me put it this way: not only will it blow up in his face, but the taxpayers are going to have to get the bill for it. Someone's going to pay for it, right?
But do you think that it'll make a difference to them since they won't see it till later in the year, if not next year?
I don't know, man. There's a lot there. That's a big place. Disney encompasses so much. I mean, it's hard to even explain how big Disney is. So yeah, that would be an enormous increase in demand on the current tax system. Yeah, especially in Orlando. Maybe even exclusively in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. I wouldn't be surprised if all of Disney is in Orlando. So,
Right.
So not like you have part of it in somebody else's district, township, county, whatever.
And don't they house some of their employees? Like they rent houses?
Yeah, they've got apartments, for lack of a better word. Plus, they have places for dorms for seasonal college students to intern with and whatever.
And it's not far from the parks, right?
It's kind of in it.
Right.
It's in a way, it's in it. It's near enough to anything that is. Yeah. It's there. Plus, they have buses that pick them up.
And that would be affecting all of them as well.
Why?
They have to pay taxes while they're there.
Well, yeah, it would have any taxpayer. It doesn't matter if you're Disney or not. If you're a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer. You're gonna, yeah. But it's so much money that Florida's going to feel it in their taxes.
Well, if that wasn't enough to convince you he's Satan, I have more. But wait, there's more.
Not really convinced of Satan there for me.
He did a Sirius XM interview.
Not so serious, yeah.
2 days ago, and they just uploaded the full interview today. And in that interview, he said he's expected to sign another bill into law within the next few days or weeks that would give him the power to appoint a state-run board to oversee the resort and the theme park.
I don't know. Are they looking to kill Disney? Is that what they want to do? They just want to kill it? Do you know how much? I mean, Orlando is alive because of Disney. I mean, probably Florida. I mean, I would not be surprised if an enormous chunk of that state, probably the entire state, if you think of the tourism that goes through there, what are they thinking about? Well, I don't know what they're thinking about. They'll just move it. Fuck it. I would
Can they
not
even
be
do
surprised
that?
if
That's
they say,
basically.
we've had enough.
But can they do that? That's basically taking over a corporation.
Can
The
who do
government
what?
taking over a corporation. They can't do that.
Yeah, I would think that it's I don't know. Does a corporation have amendment rights or constitutional rights of any kind?
Well,
Or do
they
they not?
they did say that corporations are now to be considered in court as people.
I mean, I still don't because well, yeah, that is a government entity. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't. But I haven't heard anything like from federal Congress from Washington or anything like that. I haven't heard anything about this. I would think that there would be a counter argument of how can we do this because it's illegal and it violates this, that, whatever. I haven't heard anything like that yet. Maybe because he hasn't done it yet. But even still, I don't. I'm not sure he knows what he's doing. He's so angry about that, and I think that if somehow he does, he might as well just forget about ever seeing the White House, let alone his next term in governorship. That would cost him his career.
If that happens, if the government swoops in and takes over the resort and theme park, will Disney shut itself down right there in Orlando?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. How big of an investment is it? I don't know how much have they collected out of it. How much is it worth it to just say fuck it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish I had an answer to it. I kind of hope he would say no with Disney, the board of directors or wherever, would just say, yeah, let's just move our organization somewhere else. Or at least tell them if this continues, that's what we're gonna do, and give them plenty of time to change their mind before they actually implement something. Whatever. That's not good to do that. I mean, it's the fact that this company actually did this and took an enormous burden off of the taxpayers. It's blown away. I don't think a company would do that today. I mean, this was way back when Disney was being developed and it had all this swampland they had to turn in. Zoning laws had to be specialized for them. How do you zone the castle? I mean, what do you zone that as? So stuff like that. So that's why they made agreements like this. So they had a lot more freedom to do and build what they needed to do and build. And in turn, they took care of, the fire department. They have I don't know if they actually have medical, but I'm 99% sure they have like ambulances and other rescue equipment and things like that. And they do definitely have security for sure. Now, are they police? I really don't know. I never really gave it a thought. I never wanted to piss off anyone in uniform. So, why be harassed? It's just not worth it. But anyway, they drove, patrolled, and had weapons. So,
well, my question is: do you know if the California Disney has the same agreement with California, or is it just the Florida Disney?
Well, you have to keep in mind that the California park is about the size of Magic Kingdom, I think, or something like that. Or maybe it's the Magic Kingdom park out in California is the size of the employee parking lot at Orlando. It's not that big by comparison. It's nowhere near the size that. Even though they've added, there's other parks and whatever.
So you wouldn't assume that they have the same self-governing agreement with California?
I've never been there, and I don't know much about it. But just considering that it's a theme park like you would expect another theme park, because there are other theme parks. You have Busch Gardens, that's a really theme park. You have, whatever. You got parks like that throughout the country, and they don't have anything like this at Disney. That Disney has in Orlando. At least I'm not aware of it. I've never heard of it before. It would be a common thing. It's probably easier to fight if that were the case, if rules were common, because you could set a precedence by that. At least I would hope he could. But I wouldn't be surprised if they drag it in court though and sue it. You know,
If he,
expensive in itself too.
if he, in his endeavors, is able to do this to the point where Disney shuts themselves down, will he still be electable?
No.
You think even the Republicans would turn against him?
They'd plunge Florida into poverty overnight.
So Florida Republicans would turn against him as well, you think?
Well, think about it. When I worked down there, well, actually, when I first worked down there, we're talking 30 years ago, there were more than 60,000 employees. They've expanded the park quite a bit since then. I would not be surprised if there's 75, 100, somewhere in there, 1,000 employees. Think about that tax base, for one. Think about all those people that spend all that money. And now we're only talking about employees. You know, we haven't even gotten into tourists, but they don't have state tax. They've got sales tax. So they draw in, you know, millions of tourists a year, at least. I would say 1, 2, or more million tourists. Maybe with COVID, things are a little weird, but let's just talk pre-COVID. That's an unbelievable tax, you know, injection every time, you know, the tourists come. And believe me, the traffic suffers from it. It would take me 2 hours to get to work, you know, a 20-minute drive, normal. But also all the things that they buy. I mean, the malls that they built around the area, I mean, they didn't exist when I lived there. One of them did. There's 2 more since I've moved out. I've come back and seen, and they're like cross gates, you know, or bigger.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, all that has developed since I left Florida, which was back in probably 97, 98, last time I actually lived in Florida. So yeah, in 20, 25 years, it's gone to where it is now. Interstates are unbelievable. They're all over the place now. Instead of 1 or 2, you got what seems to be 7. 5 of them are toll roads. So yeah, I mean, it would devastate them economically, losing Disney. No doubt about it.
So basically, Disneyland in California pulls in about 8.5 million visitors per year.
Oh wow! So I guess it's much higher than I thought then.
Disney World in Florida pulls in a little over 12 million a year.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, 15. A little bit closer, second guess. But yeah, again, that's true. It's 20 years later, so yeah, I guess
it's actually 12.7 million visitors, and that's
so
in
think
12.
About all that revenue
That's in
the
2021.
sales tax alone.
That's in 2021 when COVID was full swing.
Jeez. So yeah, that's I can't see. That's coin.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing is but you have to think about one more thing though. What DeSantis is doing, because he got elected, and they've elected him again, and he's what they want. So all this bullshit that he's pushing, now is the point where it's going to start affecting them, and they're actually going to see how wrong they were. Because they're going to see it in real time, and it's going to affect their pocket. I hate to say it, the people in Ohio, as an example, I really wish that never happened, but it was a direct result of Trump that regulation that would have been in place at the time of this accident.
Even though he went there and said this has nothing to do with me and my administration?
Well, it did, because his signature was on it. He was standing next to a simulated pile of what the regulation was.
Yeah, I saw that.
I would bring it to. He cut the ribbon on it. So he wanted that regulation gone.
Right.
You know, he eliminated like 1,500 plus regulations.
Do you think that by 2024, which is the next presidential election, I believe, that this will have blown up on DeSantis?
Well, yes, because he's only getting a really large consensus of not only his base of supporters, but that type of base throughout probably the country. he's not getting a good consensus, I don't think. Even though I know the polls show one thing, I just don't see it. I think Trump or DeSantis at this point, if either one of them make it through the primaries and are on top, neither one of them are going to make it.
Right.
They're just not going to make it. It's just because of the things they continue to say. If they would just shut the fuck up, all right, even DeSantis, he might be able to get by if he just kept his mouth closed more often. I'm glad they keep talking. They sink themselves all the time, at least on a national point of view.
True. So,
and that's what matters in presidential, I guess, right?
So basically, where it sits is he's going to shoot himself in the foot, and we're going to sit back and watch it go down.
The thing that I think might be on his side is if Biden runs unopposed, it may be a little better if Biden just wins the primary, if there happens to be one, because sometimes Democrats don't put up a primary if the incumbent wants to run.
Right.
But I hope this time they do, because I do like Biden. I like what he did up to this point. I don't think we need him going further. I think we're ready.
Correct.
And I think a few other people are planning on retiring this year, Democrats in the Senate, for that reason, because it's time for the next generation needs to step in and start taking the reins, getting their hands dirty, getting it all cleaned up, their mess that they've left.
Quick question before we go, man.
Quick answer.
Nikki Haley. Will she, if she doesn't win the primary, will she run independent?
I wouldn't be. That's a really good question. I didn't think of that. I don't know if she'll go independent or not. I'll have to table that because that is an option. If she decides not to go independent, I expect she's going to drop out relatively early. Because I don't think she's going to have the momentum she needs to even. She won't embarrass herself.
If she runs independent, all she's going to do is take votes away from whoever wins
everybody.
the primary. Well, whoever wins the primary. I doubt a lot of Democrats.
Come on, she reminds me of more like Sarah Palin. Who the hell voted for her? Not many people voted for her in the presidential race. Yeah, I suspect the same thing's going to happen. She's not saying anything. She's campaigning, I think. But
she's campaigning against
anything of significance from her at all. Not even really criticism. It's pretty.
She's mostly campaigning by shooting down most of the things that Trump did or wants to do. She's like an anti-Trump Republican. Yeah.
So that means she's just got to be a next level up crazier than he is.
Or she's more centered.
I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think the crazy that three of these that we've been talking about, DeSantis, Trump, and Haley, I don't think the level of crazies, I think it's too much. I think they're investing so heavily into this.
The question is, and I haven't seen Haley's campaign, but my question is, could she be more center than the other two, and that would be beneficial to her?
Are you asking because you already know the answer? Or?
Well, I do know that she has backtracked on a lot of things that she agreed with Trump on earlier. Mm-hmm. And when she backtracked, she went more center than she did. Well, she went more Mitt Romney than she did Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, Mitt Romney, though, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to give her that kind of credit, to be honest with you. I think she's just trying to speak and see what sticks and then try to run on that. And so far, what she's been going with is not really working out so well, in my opinion. I just don't see it happening. I say, yeah, go for it, because it's going to create some form of disruption or inner discussion of problems within those groups of Republicans. So, yeah, I don't mind putting any disarray or, they've gerrymandered us to pieces. I'm going to take any edge we can get. We need to hold the Senate. I'm really concerned about that. We have to hold the Senate because we don't have that much of a margin of error.
True.
So, yeah.
Well, we still have plenty of time to wait and see how this all pans out.
Mm.
And excuse me, but with that being said, I'm out of here. I don't know about you, but I'm gone. History, nothing but a memory. See you later. Have fun. See you in the funny papers.